Hello, welcome to my stream. I can see we already have one viewer. And a few people in the chat. If you're real people, you can say hello in the chat. Alright, so when I left yesterday, I was having a hell of a time with getting this tutorial to run in the platformer microgame in Unity. And luckily, I have gotten that fixed. I was basically just had to uninstall Unity and Unity Hub, and now I'm actually using the beta version, which is working smoothly, that's nice at least. Anyways, we should be able to just jump right into this. This is not going to be when I normally do my streams. I ended up setting up a schedule. So on Twitch, it shows I've got a schedule for Mondays from 7 to 9, I think, or maybe I did 6:30 to 8:30. And that'll be the normal time that I do it. So this is a bonus stream. As you can see, I've also got my webcam going now. Hi, this is me, my face. So from last night, it looked like Unity took about 2 minutes to open up, even after I did all the reinstall stuff. So that's just the new status quo for how long it takes Unity to open up. The goal is to get through this tutorial on the stream, and hopefully I can be done with that by 8. Okay, here we are. 2D platformer, make your own platformer game. In this project, you'll find preloaded scenes, scripts, audio tutorials, and more to inspire you and help you start creating. New to Unity, quick start your creation with the step-by-step tutorials. Ready to create, head straight to the scene. Well, let's go through the tutorials. In this tutorial, you'll begin to explore the basics of the Unity editor as you playtest the beginning of the platformer microgame, review the interface, make the player go faster. Let's click start. So we've got the scene view here up at the top, and when we go to click play, it'll go to the game view. That's all typical Unity stuff. I died. It's not Mario. So if this was Mario, you'd be able to jump on that slime there and kill it. But alright, looks like we're going to talk about the game object and the hierarchy. So everything's a game object. We've got the hierarchy on the left where we can organize the game objects. Click on this and it's going to show up more info in the inspector. Now it wants us to look at the max speed. So we're going to set the max speed to 10. We're going to go ahead and, oh, here we can do file save. Bang. Oh, we got another viewer. Oh my god. Speed of 10 is too fast, but I agree with Unity. Speed of 3 was definitely too slow. Alright, well, that was the whole tutorial. I didn't have to make anything for that. Go on to the next tutorial. So with this one, we're going to figure out how to move around in the scene and to move things within the scene. Got the hand tool. Now we can pan around. You can see we've got some sort of Easter egg down here. This little alien dude, he doesn't look too happy. Got this bonus thing here. Figure out how to get there somehow. Yeah. This world goes on for quite a bit. It's the end. You gotta get to there to win. Looks cool. So we can zoom in and out with the scroll wheel. Or we can do the Alt key and right mouse button to zoom, which I don't see myself ever needing to use. So now we can select the move tool to move some things around. For example, this diamond here, this gem, not really a big fan of where that's at. I'd like that to be earlier so I could get one without dying from the red guy. So you can move things along a single axis by grabbing these dudes here, or you can grab this plane here and then move it around on this, let's see, X, Y plane. So that's cool. Because we're in 2D right now, we're not gonna, I don't know if it's gonna let us rotate, but we could rotate. Next, we're going to figure out how to change colors of things. We're going to select the player object. Press F to frame him. There's some other stuff in the way here if we can. Get rid of that. That'd be Nice. So the sprite render component here is what decides his color, because I guess his sprite is just black and white, and then we're going to color it, probably. Yeah, so the sprite was originally just a grayscale guy, and then we're going to be able to color it. So I don't know, what color would I like to do? I like that color. Here's the same color of the gems. I'm also going to change the max speed back down to like 7. Seems good. Now, there was something I noticed about the jumping, which was kind of frustrating, and I didn't like it. It's like you only went higher if you held down the space button, which I really did not appreciate. It's just like if you just tap to jump, you only jump a little bit. Remember to do Control S, and now we're going to go play. We're going to see that he's yellow now. A fart noise when you kill it. That's great. Got that one. So it kills your jump if you're like running into the wall. Just kind of annoying. Alright, we're gonna add an enemy. So we've got these prefabs down here for the enemies. Yeah, I don't really know why I'd rotate him, but let's scale him. him big like that. This guy should be further down the line though. Probably is like a boss, I think. So you just right click anywhere and you can pan around. You don't need to switch back to the pan tool, which is nice. It's super handy. We'll put this guy here. Alright, let's go see if we can kill this guy now. I'm gonna mute the audio, I don't want to hear it. Oh, there he is. He's a big boy. Got him. Oh, I found the entrance into the secret room. That's cool. Dead. Okay. So there's lots of different mods that we can do here. Because that took no time at all. Let's look through the scene first. So we have things broken up here into folders almost. We've got this enemies folder. We've got patrol paths for enemies that go back and forth. But the enemies object doesn't really have a it doesn't really have anything inside of it other than a transform, which is just, it places it at 0, 0. I found out about this nice thing in Unity. So in order to organize things, we can give them special icons. So like here, this object enemies, which is more of a folder than anything, I have changed its icon into a folder. That's just kind of handy. Patrol paths, I can do the same thing with that. That was just something I heard about. Be nice if it updated over here though. So what makes up a patrol path? Patrol path has got a script on it. Take a look at that script. It's got a start position and an end position. That makes sense. Those guys are public, so you can set them from within the editor. And it's a mover. Create a mover instance, which is used to move an entity along the path at a certain speed. Let's see, it's a mover. Give it a speed. then when it gets reset, start position goes to like -1 or something like that. Yeah, maybe I should have gone with Visual Studio so I can look at this stuff better. Let's go to the internet. Is that another script that they wrote? Alright, well, whatever. I guess it's something that basically takes in this object and then knows to look for a start position and an end position and then moves between them at the given speed. So none of the interesting code is actually here. So that's what makes up a patrol path. I guess you can change these, you know. Oops. So these points here you can move around, that's handy. So I bet this doesn't really adhere to any sort of... Oh, that is interesting. It doesn't actually let you change the Y. Huh. How do they do that? So I bet if I reset this, it changes it back to -1 and 1. I want to try it on a different one. Where's this one? This one at the end here. To reset. Yep, -1 and 1. And I suppose that's relative to its transform. So you can like move the whole thing around. Like that. So if I put it up here, I bet this dude floats around. Let's go check it out on the first one. That's interesting. It's because I didn't save it, or because it actually doesn't adhere to the patrol path. Yeah, okay. So the patrol path, it probably just gets the X and just the X coordinates out of that. We can go look at the enemy. So the enemy is a prefab, and we've got this new big one that we added. We can put that into the other folder, so they're all in here. I'm interested in what the Cinemachine is. I think the Cinemachine is the thing that like makes the camera pan around the way that you expect it to. It follows the player. So when you move like that, the camera takes a little while to catch back up. So, yeah, it appears that I was right, but I just couldn't find it. So if you jump up here, you can go through and then fall down and go through these guys. So right now I'm looking at this tile grid. The tile grid's got the level aspect to it, which lets you basically put all the blocks that you collide with on it. No cool Easter eggs for when you go find Mr. Alien. Oh well. Let's take a look at the enemies now. So we've got Transform, got the Sprite Renderer. These guys are already painted red, so you don't have to do anything interesting there. Which are the colors white. Then we got an animator. So then we've got these animations here. Entry point goes to the idle, goes to run, then back. From any state, it can become hurt or die, but from hurt it goes back to idle. And I think the idle is just it's bouncing. This is why the hitboxes are kind of shit. It's because the collider's size has changed here, but it doesn't actually really reflect what's going on with the dude, so. Because it gets, between here and here, it gets smaller, and then it starts getting bigger, but it just goes from small to big in the Y dimension. So whatever. It's cool. Alright, let's see what else is on an enemy. Got the rigid 2D body. Then we've got the capsule collider. We've got the animation controller. Then we got the script here, which we'll look at a bit more. Then we got the audio source. I don't think there was anything interesting with the animation controller, but maybe there is. We can look at that. So when it wakes up, it gets the sprite renderer component and the animator component. A platformer model. I don't know what that is. Alright, let's jump to the enemy controller. I think this script is probably a bit more interesting. So, requires an animation controller. It requires a 2D collider. That's cool. I never knew you could require other components. Maybe I should keep track of things I learn. So earlier when we were looking at the animator, I noticed that we could, I don't think I knew that you could like make keyframes for the collider. That's pretty cool. Okay, so now using require component. You can require components for scriptor. Now I assume it just doesn't compile if you don't have those. Okay, and then we've got the public, the path, and then the ouch clip. And then internal, I don't know what internal is, actually. That's a C# thing I have not heard of. I guess it's just private. Private in Java, maybe. So then we've got the path.mover, which we just get, I guess, animation controller, call it control. Maybe it's basically like renaming something that already exists, possibly. That's kind of what it seems like. And we've got a sprite renderer, which this thing already has as well. And we've got bounds, which are the bounds of the collider. So when it's created, it gets references to the animation controller, the 2D collider, the audio source, and the sprite renderer. And then sets those to the internal deals. So I don't know why these ones are internal and this one isn't. That'd probably be a question for Google. Access modifier for types and type members. Internal types or members are accessible only within the files in the same assembly. I don't know what an assembly is. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it seems like one of those things that you probably... I don't really feel like I need to use that. Maybe that makes me a naive developer. Okay. So now, on entering collision with the 2D collider, we get the player. We're assuming that the player is the only thing that's colliding with this, I suppose. I suppose it's just named player. I don't know if it has to be a player. So if it's not null, then it schedules player-enemy collision with the player being this and the enemy, or the player being the player and the enemy being this. Okay. And then on the update, if the path is not null, then if the mover is not null, or if the mover is null, then we create a mover, basically. It'd be really cool if I could see what the hell this mover thing was. That's really annoying. Oh. Here we go. Patrolpath.mover.cs. Oh, now you can do that. And now you can... Okay, whatever. So, partial. That's another C# thing. So you can make a partial class. I'm making note of more things I'm learning about C# internals and C# partial classes. That's kind of nice. I mean, it can get really frustrating in Java when you have need to have internal classes and they need to be in the same file. Okay, so here we've got the mover, and the mover's got a path. Okay. It's got this value p, which is the position. It's unclear what that is. We have the duration, start time. So when it's created, we have our path and we have our speed. So it's the path equal to the path. The duration is the distance, I guess the magnitude of that divided by the speed. So that's the amount of time it'll take to go through that. From one end to the other end. And then the start time is now, whenever we get that. Okay. And then we have this position member variable, which has a getter function, and it gets this p thing, which is an inverse LORP. That's linear interpolation. Man, now I'm thinking I need to get Visual Studio. I think I have Visual Studio. No, okay, whatever. I'll install it later. Okay, so then we get a ping pong between the current time and the start time, and then the duration, and then basically inverse LORPing between 0 and the duration, and then we get our current time in the ping pong with the duration. So it's like one end and then the other end. We say here's where we're at in the current time, and then we're gonna have some LORP like that, or I guess LORP would be a linear interpolation. Anyways, we say if this is our time, then we're does that put us here? And that's what this P value is. But that's just between 0 and duration. And then we go and we then LARP that between the start position and the end position. And then we get that in terms of a path.transform point. Okay, it's getting the position of the, it's getting the center of the patrol path, and then it's transforming that based off of where we are in the LARP. So the patrol path center never changes, we just go left and right along it. That makes sense. So this position getter is called, and then we get the X. Then we subtract the position of the enemy. There's something I'm still not sure of here, which has to do with this. But anyways. Okay, cool. I think that's enough work for now. When I come back on the stream next week, next Monday, we can look at doing some of the mods and then go to publish, build and publish the game. There's a web game. And then we can look at some of the other stuff in the scene, like we've got this tile grid, which is used to build out the world. And then we've got the background, kind of interested in how the background works. The player, and then also this game controller, and what's going on in the game controller. Death zone script. I also don't know what this simulation thing is. These are events. I like scheduling them so it's not like a drain on the resources. You can do it on a later frame if it needs to. It's definitely a design pattern I'm not super familiar with, so it'd be good to learn more from this. So there's also just like not a way to not die. Like it shows in the code and in the resources and stuff that there's like a difference between getting hurt and dying. So there's like a player hurt animation. But then there's, most of the time it's just player die. Player death, he melts away. Cool. Well, okay. I think I'm gonna stop the stream now. And if you joined to, I'm gonna save this project. Hold on. Delete this old folder. So if you joined the stream, thank you. I saw at one point I had 2 viewers. Wow, incredible. I don't know if either of them are real people or not. But if you were real and you joined the stream and you've been watching, thank you. And if you were watching on YouTube after the fact, thank you as well. I hope my audio is a lot better this time. It was really quiet last time, and I apologize for that. Cranked it up this time. This is the one I did before, the penny pixel. That was a tile map lesson. I learned about tile maps and rural tiles. That was really cool. All right, so I will see you guys next Monday at 6:30 or 7. I don't recall right now. But that is roughly when I'll be on. And we will start up with going through the mods, the tutorial mods. We'll see what more we can learn from the scene and the scripts in the mini game or in the micro game, whatever. And then we can move on over to making our own project. So, thanks and peace out.